everyone, my name's Erin and I'm going to try to get through this discussion as quickly and as painless as possible. Also, I don't really know how to edit these videos, so we're just going to try to get through this without messing up. So here we go. I decided that I wanted to do an article that was a little bit more mainstream, something that I felt like we could all kind of relate to, at least in some way, or know a little bit about. I picked something on Apple. I know at least half of you probably have an Apple iPhone or some sort of Apple product. The article that I chose is titled, "Consumers are suing Apple for slowing down their iPhones. Did Apple break the law? Hashtag if I only knew." This article is about how Apple and the CEO, Tim Cook, finally admitted that their iOS update actually does slow down the older iPhones. Their whole reasoning behind why they put out this update that actually did slow down the iPhones after they were caught and complained on by hundreds of thousands of angry, disgruntled consumers, they said that their reasoning for this was to prevent any unexpected shutdowns due to the older phones having older batteries. They also said that their intention was supposed to be good. It was supposed to prevent those phones from having an abrupt shutdown while being used for something important, for something that you can't get back once you've lost it to the phone shutting down. Apple quickly apologized for what they had done, of course, after, again, all the complaints came through. They began offering discount batteries. So, I don't know, when I first heard this, I was like, why are they offering batteries? The phone is slow. They never said anything about the battery. Apple kind of kept under wraps the fact that after the consumers updated their phone with the new iOS update, there was actually I won't say really cheap, there was a cheaper fix than going out and buying an $800 phone. They could go out and buy a new battery, and that battery would actually fix the slow phone. So that's something Apple didn't really throw out there. They kind of, once people started complaining about the slowdown, they kind of just, troubleshooted a little bit, let the consumer troubleshoot on their own, and then eventually go out and either continue to complain or give in and buy a new iPhone. The other thing that Apple kind of kept hidden was the fact that the consumer could have just chosen not to update the phone. You guys, Apple preaches to update their phones. I don't know about you, but I always update my phone as soon as the update comes out because they say it's gonna fix this problem, or it's gonna speed this process up, or now we're gonna fingerprint to let you into this app. So it's something that people do automatically because Apple's put it out there that an iOS update is a good thing, it's a positive thing. They didn't ever say with this update that maybe people with older phones should choose not to do so. One thing I wanted to point out, which the article talked about as well, was how coincidentally this iPhone slowdown with the older phones came at the same time as the iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, and the iPhone X. So all of these old phones are slowing down, people are getting frustrated, maybe it is time for a new phone, I've had it for a couple years, and all these nice new pretty, more exciting, fun phones are out there for the consumers to buy. Thought that was a little funny, so did the writer of this article. But anyways, moving on to what the actual article is about, is the main point of this article is Apple violating the law. Is what they did by concealing the full truth to the consumer against the law. Apple is saying that when you update your iPhone, as a consumer, you're signing a contract because they're calling the little thing that pops up after you download the update where you have to scroll down and click I agree is your contract. So for this instance, the contract for this update was 17 pages long. 17 pages of tiny words and tiny paragraphs that, let's be honest, none of us actually read. Maybe not the best way to get the point across, Apple. I'm just saying. So what I wanted to tell you about, I'll actually read it directly from the article because Apple mentioned what they put in those 17 pages of that exact contract for this update that was slowing. Apple mentioned that in their contract that Apple does not warrant against interference with your enjoyment of the iOS software, that the operation will be uninterrupted and or error-free. It also warns that the installation of this iOS software may affect the availability and the usability of apps and services. They put it in there, kind of. To me, that doesn't scream, this update will slow your phone down or break it entirely. But is that enough? Is that fine print enough to keep Apple and its CEO out of court? I don't know. The article talks a little bit about contract law, which basically keeps the merchants honest. The law prohibits deception and concealment and requires the merchants to act in good faith. So if they see their consumers doing something that they don't really need to do, they're supposed to say something about it or put it out there that, you know, instead of doing this, you could do that. What they did after there were tons and tons of complaints was put out there, you could have just not updated it, or don't buy a new phone, just buy a battery. That'll fix it. They kind of did it. I mean, maybe it was a little bit late, but they did what contract law requires them to do, which is give a second option. So it's kind of one of those things. It seems like a toss-up so far into the article. The article also discussed about the legalities of knowingly inducing consumers to buy what they don't need. The article talks a lot about, I've actually seen this, but it talks about products that people don't actually need. And one of the products it mentions is the smart water bottle that lights up when it's time for you to drink water. Not something you need to survive. You have to drink water. Water is a life source. You don't need something to remind you every single day to do so. But if you're someone that's really busy, or maybe you don't really like water all that much, maybe that water bottle would benefit you. That little light up water bottle on your desk will remind you to actually drink water. So then as a consumer, you have a choice to go out and buy that product, even though you know deep down inside you might not actually need it. On the other hand, with the iPhone, I don't know about you guys, but my whole life is on my iPhone. My calendar, I use it as my alarm in the morning. I pay my bills. I Google things. I do nearly everything on my iPhone. All my work meetings are in my calendar, everything. And I think a lot of people are kind of in the same boat that I am with that because it's convenient. You carry it around with you every day. You don't have to carry a bunch of calendars and papers. You have it all on your phone. So when that phone stops working or slows down, it's a little nerve-wracking. I know for myself, I shattered my phone one time. It was a little bit older. I think I was like 2 models behind. I decided, you know what, it's time. Went out, bought a brand new phone. I feel like this is kind of what's happening to these people, although they didn't shatter their phone. Their phone, they updated it and it slowed down. So selling something to people that don't need isn't illegal. It's not something illegal, but there's kind of a right way and a wrong way to do it. The difference is that when people buy that light up water bottle, they know in advance that they don't need it and they're making that conscious decision to buy it anyways. People that have gone out since this update and bought iPhones might kind of be buying iPhones in desperation. Nobody wants to spend $800 on a phone, but if you use it every day, it's kind of one of those necessities. It's a need. So one thing I was thinking about as I was looking through and reading through this article is Apple's a really well-known company. So all the consumers and all these people, I mean, you guys know this, the cell phone world is divided in half. You have your Android users and you have your iPhone users. They're both loyal to their companies and they trust in their companies. So all of the iPhone users trust in Apple that whatever they're doing is something that's going to help them and benefit them. So the article does state that if Apple really did conceal the information, that they could be liable in court. So all these class action lawsuits could actually go through. That's still an ongoing battle. There's no actual conclusion to this scenario yet. The lawsuits are still coming in. They're still debating back and forward. I did, however, read, I've been kind of keeping up with it since finding this article to do. I read on January 18th that USA Today did announce that Apple is offering a different update to prevent or correct the slowdown of the iPhone. However, they are not recommending it because they are still sticking to the fact that they did this because the batteries in the old phones are no good and will do abrupt shutdowns on everyone's iPhone. I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I do have my 2 questions for you guys. I'm really excited to see what you think about all this. I think this will be a fun topic to kind of discuss and debate over. My first question, I guess I'll post these on the discussion as well, so maybe the article too, so you guys can read through it if you want to. But my first question is, to give you a little background, according to Forbes.com, Apple has been the top company, world's most valuable, for 7 straight years. So with that background knowledge, do you feel as though Apple, the world's most valuable company, will lose credibility over this issue, or is the brand, its popularity, and its loyal consumers going to keep them on top? That's the first question. Second question, in your opinion, has Apple actually broken the law? So I'm excited to see what you guys think. I think this will be a really fun debate, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.